Welcome back, everybody. Tommyknocker Spices and Rubs. I'm Tommyknocker. Today is going to be a bit of a subtext within our brining videos. We're going to be brining freshly caught mountain whitefish and brook trout caught from a small northern Alberta ice-cold lake yesterday by a very good friend of mine, Darren from Zuga. Zuga is who presents us with our erythritol. This is what we're going to use when we're doing keto brining, and today we're going to be keto brining. If you're watching this just to find out what to do with a smaller fillet and you don't want to do keto, make this brown sugar, okay? It's that simple. Now, these are smaller fillets. These are not like the big steelhead trout or the salmon fillets that I've worked with in the past. These are smaller pieces of meat to deal with. Therefore, they're going to be in the water for a shorter period of time. I should say brine. They're going to be in the brine for a shorter period of time with a lower concentration of salt. So what we're going to do first is we're going to dissolve the erythritol in tepid water. As you've heard us do this before, the tepid water will allow for proper dissolving of this into a solute so that when we introduce to a colder environment in the making of the brine, we don't have it precipitating out. We want this dissolved so that it'll actually penetrate the flesh with the salt combination here. We are going to be having a slightly lower salt concentration as a result of 3/4 of a cup of kosher salt and 3/4 of a cup of soy. That means we're going to have a slightly lower concentration of salt for a slightly shorter period of time, but the effectiveness on the thinner fillets will be that they will be brined. So we're going to start with putting our erythritol into the tepid water, and then we'll use our whisk and get that dissolved. Just like it. Now we have the erythritol dissolved in the tepid water. From a measurement standpoint, you can see that there's a mark here that says 4 quarts. That's actually the same as saying 4 liters or 1 gallon. So we have 3 quarts or 3 liters in here right now, 3/4 of a gallon, and we have 1 liter or 1 quart, 4 cups of tepid water here. It's completely dissolved the erythritol provided by Zuga. And we're now going to introduce that to our brine solution. Liquid gold, my friends. Okay. And I got some on me, which doesn't mean I'm part of the brine. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is introduce our salt, our kosher salt, 3/4 of a cup into our brine. Going to give that a bit of a stir and get that to dissolve as well. Okay, we have dissolved the erythritol in the tepid water, introduced that to our brine bucket, and we now have also dissolved our kosher salt. I'm going to introduce, last but not least, 3/4 of a cup of soy. This is just regular soy, nothing special about it. And that kind of distributes right away into our solute. What's next is we're going to introduce all of these beautiful fillets that Darren has provided us from that wonderful ice-cold lake in northern Alberta. And you'll notice they are a lot smaller than the steelhead trout that we were working with in our initial video. We've got to be delicate with these guys. They will brine quickly and they will smoke quickly. And once they're all in there, I'm going to put my lid on my brine bucket and take this to my cold room so that they remain ice cold for the next hour while they're brining. It was butterflied. Good job. Okay, they're all in, they're doing their thing. On goes our lid, and this is now going to sit for 1 hour while the brining process does what it's supposed to do. We brought the fish in from our cold room, and it's been brining for an hour. And remember, they were very slight, slim fillets. So what we've done is we've actually backed off on the salt, backed off on the soy, and backed off on the length of time. So it had 3/4 of a cup of kosher salt, 3/4 of a cup of soy for 1 hour. They're very slim. I brought the fish out of the brine and out of our cold room. I'm bringing them out now onto parchment, and I'm then going to dry them off. Once they're dry, I'm going to set them aside and have them set up the pellicle. What's the pellicle? You may recall from our first recording on brining that the pellicle is a thin film of protein that sets up from the fish itself and allows for all of our good dry rubs to attach perfectly to the meat of the fish. There you have it. All the fillets, one of which was butterflied, are now out, and I'm going to be drying them off. So you'll take a napkin, paper towel, and simply dab the excess water off. The fillets, I'm just going to put a toothpick into a few of them. Now previously I've used that to designate keto. This whole recipe is keto. And as you can see here, I've set aside a portion of the keto pork and fish, which is right over here. And that's what this is. This is keto pork and fish, but we're not ready to put that on yet. We're gonna have to put saran over this and give it some time, an hour, for the pellicle to form. The pellicle is a thin film of protein that comes up from the meat, and that's what allows our dry rub to adhere beautifully to the skin, to the flesh of the meat. So we're gonna put the saran over top right now and let this set up so that it can make its pellicle. Well, the fillets have come out of the brine, and as you can see, we've put our dry rub on them. The pellicle is holding everything in place, and now we're going to put the fillets nicely into our smoker so that they can pick up all the flavoring you can imagine. We're going to start off with a smoker temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason for this is that a little bit of a lower temp to start is ideal. Now they're only going to be on for about an hour and a half. They're a little bit, they're not as robust as the salmon or the steelhead trout that we have in our initial video. And you want to make sure there's space between them all so that every one of them gets their fair share of the smoke. So we're going to close that up. We're going to add a mitt full of wood chips to this. Get that smoke happening all over again. And this is a combination of apple wood and hickory. All right, welcome back, folks. We are now going to take the trout and mountain whitefish off the grill. They've been smoking for about an hour, and in my humble opinion, I think these little beauties are ready to come off. So let's take them off and let's see how they turned out. There you go, hot off the grill. These are ready. Eat them up, just put them on a plate with some greens and you've got yourself a beautiful meal. Or peel the skin off and make yourself some pate or a nice dip with cream cheese. We'll have alternative recipes available on our website. They'll be there shortly.